And in sports, Super Eagles, the top Group C to reach quarterfinals in Chan 2018. We'll bring you details in a moment. President Muhammadu Buhari has assured Nigerians that the rising attacks on communities by herdsmen would soon be brought under control by the security forces deployed in vulnerable areas across the country. Receiving the board of directors of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group in Abuja, the president expressed concern that the unfortunate attacks had brought sorrow and hardship to many Nigerians, with the government also affected. The president's spokesman, Femi Adesina, in a statement said the president promised that the federal government will soon end the incessant attacks on communities by herdsmen to pave the way for a good environment for businesses to thrive. Meanwhile, the Minister of Interior, Abdulrahman Dambazo, on Tuesday in Abuja held a crucial meeting with heads of internal security agencies over the herdsmen killings and other security challenges in the country. Speaking before the meeting, Dambazo said one of the issues that require urgent attention is the increase in small arms and drug trafficking and abuse in Nigeria. He noted that without firearms and drugs, those perpetrating the violence would not have the courage to do so with such magnitude recorded in the crisis states. The minister said there was need to take urgent steps toward ensuring that the situation was dealt with, especially as the 2019 elections drew near. President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, has assured that the upper chamber is working to provide necessary legislation for the development of the country's education sector. Saraki gave the assurance at a public hearing on innovative education technology in Abuja on Tuesday. Represented by the Senate leader, Ahmed Lawan, Saraki expressed concern over ailing standard of education in the country. He noted that the adoption of technology-mediated learning was a viable option towards reviving the country's education system. Earlier, chairman of the committee, Senator Aliyu Wamako, said that there was need to propel Nigeria economically into global prominence with the power of information technology through e-learning. The Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Investigation of the Local Content Elements and Cost Variations of the $16 billion Egina offshore oil project has ordered that the accounts be audited. The committee said the audit of the project was to ensure that Nigeria was not tapped in perpetual debt without any benefits from the project. The project, which commenced in 2013, is set to reach almost 90% complete. Chairman of the committee, Senator Solomon Adeola, however, alleged that the project, estimated to produce 200,000 barrels of oil per day, had not been audited in any form since its commencement. Adeola said there was the need for a value-for-money audit of the project, both technical and financial. NNPC had told the committee that it did not call for an audit because the project was going smoothly. Speaker, House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara, has called for the completion of the second Niger Bridge and Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, saying that they are necessary for national development. Dogara made the call while declaring open a 2-day investigative hearing on the nature of the contract or concession arrangement on the projects organized by the House Committee on Works. According to the Speaker, the House observed that contracts for the projects continued to feature in annual budgets without any seeming signs of their completion or total amount required to do so. He added that the manner of execution of the projects was not in accordance with any defined method of project's execution. The forthcoming general elections in Nigeria will present an opportunity for people to vote in those they believe will deliver dividends of democracy to the suffering masses of the nation. Those who spoke with our correspondents in Abuja urged Nigerians to start by getting involved in the nation's political process rather than being indifferent.
Our Nigerian youth should grow up. Let's stop looking at APC or Buhari. Each and every one of us are the cause. Let's stop the blame game and look for an alternative. An alternative is that man that is different from these parties, and see if the man can act. But before they are elected, let them give us the solutions now. If you're not ready for it, you drop. Let people that are ready to die go there. The awareness should be more from religious places. Let's start our part, and definitely Nigeria will go to a greater height.
Personally, I'm ready for myself. I have my PVC already, and I have my right senses to make the right decision to choose who I think will lead me to where I want to be. So yeah, I'll advise those who don't have their PVC yet to go for it, because from next year it may just be too late getting your PVC before the election. So I think the time to act is now.
That is the important thing now to do, for me to first of all get your PVC, to know who is the right person. You don't need president. What you need is a good leader who can take this country to permanent side. Who can remember us youth. At least for me to be minister is not a bad thing. That I reach up to 70, 80 before I become a minister.
First of all, we should all get our voters card and let's vote ourselves in. My advice for the youth is they should not be used as tool anymore for this election. They should be the tool. They should be the one coming out to contest this upcoming election. We've had enough of the old people keep recycling. It's time for the youth to come out.
The call on motorists to abide by rules and be mindful of road signs, especially the zebra crossing, is important in order to reduce the rate of road crashes in the country. Those who spoke with us in this interview noted that non-observance of traffic rules and signs have led to the death of many motorists as well as pedestrians.
The road safety has a fault in this because they need to educate the drivers. So many of them do not drive by going to driving school, and they don't really learn rules and regulation of driving. It's important they educate the people because so many of them don't know it's wrong, the meaning of what zebra crossing is. So it's important they know, and when they know, you can now penalize them for not obeying the rules. Maybe doing an advert on the TV station telling the people that this is what you're meant to do, and if you fail to do it, there's a penalty for it.
Zebra crossing is something that has to do with safety of human lives. Unfortunately for Nigerians, motorists are not educated, are not well informed, are not well oriented as regards respecting the zebra crossing line. And the pedestrians as well need to understand when to use the zebra crossing line. And I strongly advise Nigerians to always respect the zebra crossing line, because if that is done, it's got that tragedy we experience on our highways will be reduced drastically.
I think it's creating more awareness, and the driving schools also. Once these things are given to people and we go over it over and over again, we'll know our rights, because the person walking his right and what the sign means, he'll stand there, the motorist will just be passing.
Meanwhile, the FCT Sector Commander, Federal Road Safety Corps, Obina Yubagora, spoke with Human Rights Radio on the need to obey the zebra signs.
A zebra crossing is a mark located where we believe there's no pedestrian bridge, and we believe there's a large number of people who are pedestrians willing to cross the road to the other side. In a zebra crossing, you will see the white and black lines parallel to the road itself. In a zebra crossing, it's expected that when a pedestrian has stepped his foot or his legs on the zebra crossing, all motorists are expected to stop until he crosses. No vehicle can pass through that zebra crossing. But unfortunately, in Nigeria, we have some typical Nigerians that they don't obey simple traffic rules and regulations. They commit some of these offenses with impunity. I appeal to all the motoring public. Let's learn to respect the zebra crossing, especially in the city centers. And where you have school children, when you want to cross any road at any zebra crossing, you have to be very, very careful. To the motorists who are misbehaving, they know it, but they don't want to obey it. 99 days is for the thief. Just that one day is for the owner. And dangerous driving attracts fine. And God bless you, you don't have a valid driver's license. Your tires are bad. All the charges that you think we can't lay on somebody will be flashed on you, and your vehicle will be impounded.
Man's inhumanity to man may be the best way to describe the experience Ngozi Okorie had in Abuja some time ago. Okorie was on the Brekete radio program on Tuesday in Abuja and narrated what a colleague of hers did to her.
Where I was working, somebody poured me acid. The person was co-worker, so the person decided to help me to the junction. So on the way, that is where he poured me the acid. During the working period, the man used to ask me, let's share the money that I sell. So I said no. If they can do it, let them do it, but I am not involved. Decided to help me. So on the way, he said the guy is having problem. Then he said I should come down and help him at the boot as I bent down to draw the wire. But before then, he stopped somewhere and said he wanted to collect something from his mechanic. So I didn't care to know what he wanted to collect. So he collected it and drove far from the place. Again, he stopped and said the car is having problem. So I should help him and draw one wire at the boot. So as I was drawing the thing, as I bent down inside the boot, that is when he poured me the thing and was pushing me inside the boot. Unfortunately, Okada was passing. He then left me and drove out. So it was the Okada man that carried me and took me to Gwarempa Hospital.
Well, she expressed gratitude to the Brekete Family Project.
According to the police, they said the letter got him and took him to the police station. Any other thing that happened at that period, I don't know, because that was between 2006 to 2008. I was in the hospital. It was after I heard that the man is dead. I don't know whether he's dead or not. I came to Brekete Family for help because if I went to look for work, they would tell me because of the condition of my health, so I cannot work. I heard about the story of Brekete Family, so I decided to come. In fact, to be sincere, I never know that people can help. I want to say thank you to as many that call, as many that contributed, even as many that cry with me. I want to say thank you very much. And I want to, especially the Brekete family and ordinary president, I want to say thank you very much. God will keep on blessing you.
Responding to her predicament, the Brekete family donated both food items and clothing materials to assist her reintegrate into the society. Funds were also raised for her to enable her start a business of her own in order to make her self-reliant. Following the reported cases of Lassa fever in some parts of the country, the Anambra State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Joe Akabweke, has warned against the habit of drinking raw gari, which might have been infested by rats carrying the disease. Speaking in an interview in Awka, Akabweke warned against the purchase of gari, which are usually spread along the highway. He observed that good hygiene practices and taking precautions over all forms of symptoms among family members and friends would go a long way towards curbing the spread of the disease. He also added that hand washing remained an effective way of preventing diseases and advised families and corporate organizations to adopt the use of tip taps and hand sanitizers placed in public places. The European Union has earmarked about 54 billion naira to provide basic services for communities destroyed or affected by Boko Haram insurgency in Borno State. EU envoy to Nigeria and head of cooperation Carl Cornelis disclosed this at the official launch of the EU support program in Maiduguri on Tuesday. He noted that there were no quick fixes in the deplorable social services in the northeast caused by the violence. He said the EU would work closely with other relevant agencies to address the challenge so as not to allow occurrence of huge humanitarian crisis in the post-insurgency era. You're listening to the news at noon. It returns shortly. Do stay with us. Welcome back. On the foreign scene, the United Nations Human Rights Office says Congolese security forces is targeting UN monitors and preventing them from doing their jobs. The body said security forces also use excessive force against demonstrators who were protesting against the government. It says police forces used tear gas and reportedly fired live ammunition, killing at least 6 people and injuring at least 68 others on Sunday. Thousands had joined the nationwide protest organized by Catholic Church activists calling for President Joseph Kabila to step down amid long-delayed elections. The UN urges Congo's government to investigate where excessive force was used. In sports, Nigeria has moved into the last 8 of the ongoing 5th African Nations Championship (CHAN) in Morocco last night after coming from a goal down to thrash Equatorial Guinea 3-1 in Agadir. The result meant Nigeria finished as Group C winners and will return to the more familiar Grand Stade Tanger for their quarterfinal against the second-place team in Group D on Sunday. Victory in that game will mean another city movement, this time to Marrakech for the semi-finals on Wednesday next week. In already set quarterfinal matches, hosts Morocco will take on Namibia in Casablanca on Saturday afternoon, while Zambia played Sudan in Marrakech on Saturday evening. Well, that's the news, but before we go, here is a reminder of our top stories. President Muhammadu Buhari says herdsmen attacks will be brought under control. Security chiefs meet over herdsmen killings and arms proliferation in Nigeria. Senate vows to provide legislation to develop education sector. And on the foreign scene, UN says Congo forces target its rights workers in protests. And finally, in sports, we told you the Super Eagles top Group C to reach quarterfinals in Chan 2018. Well, that's the news at noon. Thank you for listening. My name is Ruth Usman.